Damian, Son of Batman #2, written and art by Andy Kubert. So last issue, Batman died, and at the very end of the issue, Bruce Wayne showed up and said, Damian, I know you've been killing a bunch of criminals who may or may not have been responsible for Batman dying. How dare you? And I said, that's weird, because Bruce Wayne is Batman. And a person commented back, JK6919, saying, actually, that was Dick Grayson as Batman. And I said, actually, nothing in the issue suggested that that was Dick Grayson. If anything, they were suggesting it was Bruce Wayne the whole time. Well, JK was right. JK, it's the very first page here, it says, yep, Dick Grayson's death is my fault, says Damian. However, I stand by my statement in that they were just trying to mess with you. The fact that it took literally 2 panels for them to reveal that it was Dick Grayson meant that first issue was just supposed to be, is it Dick? Is it Bruce? Regardless, Bruce storms up and he says, we end this here, Damian. You've gone against my principles. Damian's like, your principles have failed. Look how much Gotham's doing better with me just killing everybody instead. So big fight scene breaks out. And Bruce has the unrelenting edge on Damian. Like, there is, even though he is in his old age here, he is just not holding back on Damian and is letting him down. And so as he starts beating the ever-loving crap out of Damian at the end here, he basically says, you're not going to commit another murder, you're not ever going to be Batman, and you are no longer my heir. And then Damian fires off a grappling hook gun into Bruce's side, and it just takes him out. He goes down and he falls unconscious. Alfred sees this. He runs in like, what did you do? He's losing so much blood. It's a good thing that he was literally Batman, or else he'd already be dead. And Damian's like, let me help. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. And Alfred's like, haven't you done enough? Get out of here. So Damian runs off. He goes back to the church from the first issue, goes into confession, and is basically like, I killed my mentor and also my dad. Well, maybe, he might not, he's not actually dead. He's almost dead. He's on death's door. And the priest is basically saying, like, look, don't kill, but you need to be Batman. You need to take up your role as Batman. Be righteous and forgiving, but like, don't see death as a tool that you can use. And Damian's just like, okay, I get that, but like, no. And so the guy basically, the priest is basically going on saying like, your father was fantastic. Learn from him. You can surpass the reputation of your father. You can be the greatest crime fighter the world has ever known. Just stop killing people. And as he goes over to check on Damian, Damian's already gone. So we see a few days pass, and he's running scans, basically trying to figure out where the Joker could be, because obviously this all started from a Joker fish. And he talks about how he's playing chess against someone online, and he's been playing against them for years, and like, he almost never wins. This guy is 100% like the smartest man he's ever met, but he has no idea who this guy is. And then finally on his tracking computer, there is a glimpse of the Joker showing up at Arkham Asylum, and he's like, all right, time to deal with this. And he goes down into the cave, and he's about to head out as Robin, but then he's like, I can take the role of the Batman, though. And he looks at the Batman's outfit that's in the glass case. He pops it open, and we get the suit-up montage where he's also adding in his own flair until finally we get to the hooded version of Batman. Or not hooded, but high-collared version that we've seen throughout this timeline. So he heads into the room where his dad is being kept. He's hooked up to all these machines and stuff. And he basically says, like, hey, Dad, I'm sorry about everything, and also, like, Dick Grayson, a lot of stuff there, but I'm going to change. I'm going to be different now, and I'm not going to let you down. And so he heads out on the town as the next Batman. So he goes over to Arkham, and as he walks in, he's talking about how his dad and Dick Grayson were always telling him, like, horror stories of this place and how awful it was. But as he walks around, he's like, it doesn't seem that bad, I guess. But then he wonders why the Joker would be coming back here, because obviously this would be like an awful place for the Joker of how he was treated here. And as he makes his way into Joker's cell, he sees a whole bunch of like wallpaper and the padded walls are all torn off and whatnot, but he sees a little piece of red hair and a stuffed bear doll. And he somehow pieces together that this is Professor Pig. Okay, so I don't even know what this next page is, to be honest. We have a nurse who is taking care of Bruce in his home, and she's basically just recounting, and she's like hideous. She is not a good looking nurse. And she is saying all this stuff of like, oh, my husband, he's an alcoholic, and whenever he comes home at night, he never turns on the light. He just gets into bed. And I'm like, how does he even know what he's doing in the dark? How is it going on? And then he reveals that the husband hits her. And then she just walks out. I don't know what this character is. And she's got like a thick Boston accent. I don't know. Regardless, we see Professor Pig is making some Dollatrons, which is, of course, his thing. He takes some kids and, like, experiments on them. And so Damian swoops in, breaks through a window, finds Professor Pig. Pig sicks all the Dollatrons on him and reveals, like, yeah, no, the Dollatrons, they are just kids, so I have to pull my punches. But they've got this synthetic skin thing that makes it, like, a super hard polymer that is, like, really, really hard to fight anyway. So the kids take him, they start hitting him with like hammers and stuff, and then they knock him out, pick him up, and throw him out the same window again. And there's several stories up, so it's like, oh, let's see if the bat can still fly. So he's falling to his death, and that's the issue. I think this one had a lot more oomph to it, with the reveal of Bruce still being alive last issue, leading into Bruce essentially taking away his birthright, and then Damian claiming it anyway, being like, I'm going to be the next Batman, a better Batman. And then immediately going on this thing with Professor Pig. I think this story has potential to it, but I also am not sure what the end goal is. Obviously, it's Damian stepping into the role of Batman completely. I'm just not sure what the event is that's going to be able to say wholeheartedly, like, and he's done it. I do think it does have to end with him not killing someone, like, whether it's Professor Pig, whether it's Joker, who knows who it is at this point, but it's just got to be something of, he has the chance to kill them, and he says, no, that's not Batman's way. So, we'll see what happens when we get there. Overall, this issue, more straightforward, I feel, than last issue, because it's not having to hide this little reveal behind it the whole time, but still not great. I would say this is probably like a 7.5. It's a good issue. It's a fine issue. It's just, I don't know what it's missing for me. Maybe the fact that it literally, I know for a fact it has no stakes, because not only is it not the main timeline, it is definitively like a timeline that we know is not happening. So yeah, just waiting for something to make me like really care about it. But 7.5 in the meantime.